Hi, McDonogh Middle School. Welcome back from spring break. I hope you had a really wonderful break wherever you went or didn't go. I hope that you had some rest, and we are so excited to be back here in virtual school the last few weeks with a few days of virtual school before we jump in to 555. It's kind of exciting. It's kind of nerve-wracking. It's going to be great. Either way. We wanted to do a little bit with service this year. Normally, as you know, we do a lot with service. Service is a huge part of who we are, a huge part of McDonogh's community. It's in our character compass. For those of you who are new, if you take a look at our character compass, you'll notice that around the four sides, the cardinal points, north, south, east, and west, we have responsibility, respect, honesty, and kindness. And if you look right in the middle, it says service. And service is a really big part of McDonogh. It's from some of what we as a community think, and also we've been charged by our founder, John McDonogh, to go and do the greatest possible amount of good. Some of you can think about these amazing service projects that we've done in the past that you've been involved in, maybe in lower school, maybe it was in middle school when you were in 5th grade, 6th grade, or 7th grade. And this year we didn't have those opportunities to do that for all of the reasons, the schedule, the pandemic, all the things. But we didn't want to miss service. We want to make sure that we have an opportunity to engage. And really what we want to do as teachers is we want to empower you to go and make a difference so that you can go do the greatest possible amount of good. A lot of times when we do service projects, we think about what is the need and then how can I meet that need? What's out there and can I come up with a solution for that within the limits that I have? Maybe the limits are like, I can't drive, I'm a middle schooler, or I don't have a job, I don't have a lot of money, I'm a middle schooler. So what can we do within the limits that we have? And our intent to do the greatest possible amount of good is sky high. We want to go out there, we want to do good, and the truth is that we have gone out there and we have done good. But sometimes we forget to think about how our service, how our intent is impacting the people that we are serving. And so it's good to just take some time to reflect on that and process. This is our intent, which is so good and pure. What's the impact and is it successful? Is it actually accomplishing what we were trying to do? Because we know that the core of service is to look beyond ourselves, to be empathetic, to see someone who has a need, mentally put ourselves in their shoes, and then use the resources, talents, gifts, all the things that we have to help them in their time of need. Uh, can you think of a time in your life when you have been in need? Now, perhaps your time of need has not been a time of homelessness or disaster like a blizzard and you live in Texas, or a hurricane and you have survived through that. But maybe your time of need was a time when you needed help. You needed help studying for something. You needed help with a subject that you just didn't get. You needed help with learning something new or just accomplishing a task that you've been assigned. Maybe it's a chore, maybe it's homework. But for whatever reason, you were in need and you needed someone to come along and make it better for you. Have you ever had someone come along and then after they helped you, they're like, I helped you, I helped you, I helped you. I was so great because I helped you. You were in need and you were in need and you were in need, but I came along and I helped you. I mean, how crummy would you feel if you were like, okay, first of all, get off your high horse. Second of all, you're broadcasting to everyone that couldn't do it and that I was having a hard time. And third of all, I thought you were helping me. Why is this all of a sudden all about you? And so what happens when somebody comes in and they do that, they take away your dignity, right? They're coming to help you and their intent is so good and pure, but they're they did it in a way that just made you feel crummy at the end. And they were trying to give and you needed, but right, there's those weird dynamics. So what we want to do is we want to imagine that on a larger scale, a grander scale, and then just take some time to reflect to make sure that we're not making people feel crummy, right? One of the best ways that we can do that is by, instead of assuming that we know what somebody needs, we just ask them instead. So if you see someone and it looks like they have a need, go up to them and say, hey, can I help you? Do you need anything? And then let that person say, you know what, I do. I have this whole thing in front of me and it's a mess, but I've got this under control. But I keep thinking about this other mess over here. Can you help me there? Right? We can't assume that we know what it is that somebody actually needs, even though we see something and we think, I could fix that. But if we ask, then they don't feel crummy. They feel like, oh yeah, they can help me. All right, cool. We're gonna do this together. Tag, you do that and I'll do this, right? Um, so in our thinking about service this year, we are going to, as a middle school, each person in your advisories, because you're in advisory right now, as you watch this video, we're going to practice planning a service project. And this is just practice. We're going to go through the steps. The rest of this slide deck is given you step-by-step process of doing that. So the first is figuring out what's a topic that you care about, right? Everybody has different things they care about and all of them have needs. So what's something that you care about? 2, go ask questions and find out what do they need in that topic, right? So maybe you really care about animals. Go call the Humane Society. What do you need? Call the local vet, call the local pound. What do you guys need right now? Ask them what they need. The third step is to make a plan. And you're going to make a plan of action. There are 2 parts to making the plan. The first is figuring out what is going to be your end goal. And then the second one is, what skills do I have to do that? So maybe what they need at the pound is they need someone to come to the yard and do some spring cleaning and be a pooper scooper and clean up the yard, clean up the animal droppings and that kind of thing, because they have too many animals and they've run out of time. Well, perhaps you could go and you could do that for them. You could volunteer and say, hey, you know what? I'm not doing anything on Saturday. I can be there. So we've picked a topic. We've asked them what they needed. We found out, came up with a goal, and in the process of coming up with our goal, figure out what's a skill that I have. Well, I have a skill that maybe I could recruit some people. Maybe I could make a poster, whatever your skill or talent is. Then you need to go do it, take some action, and the very last thing is you need to reflect. How was that experience for me? Did my intent accomplish when I look at the impact that I have? So you're going to get a chance to do that. At the very, very end of the slide deck, there's a Google form and you need to fill it out. You have an opportunity to voluntarily join our service club. We're going to meet about once a week during lunch, recess-ish time, grades 5 through 8. And anyone who puts together this service plan and they're like, hey, I mean, this is cool. I actually want to do this. Join us. Or maybe you're like, I already got a service plan idea. I'm going to write this one for this assignment, but I have this idea that I really want to do. Join the service club. We have the next 2 months of school. We have all of April, all of May, and we're going to actually do our service projects. And so if you want to join, just sign up in there. You will be turning in your Google slide deck in that Google form, so make sure you fill it out. If you have any questions, ask your advisor and they can help you. And good luck.